a zip file, that's what you need to submit, and also a PDF file containing kind of all these like a diagram, 4 to 12 sentences that kind of describing your app, and the HIO link. Just to remind you what the project looks like this is not this should not be your project. If your project looks like this, then that is bad. It should be a little bit different. Now the TA will decide if it's different enough or not, and if you're not sure, you can chat with him. He's a bit slow, I heard, but still you should reach out to him to get approval. So what we have here was kind of the painting app we saw in class in the last couple of weeks. Cube, cylinder, and so on. You can also change the color, kind of make it like, say, focus on blue, so on. So today we're going to cover a couple of more features from this, because I don't believe we did everything, and kind of just add tools to your toolbox for creating this kind of projects. And so some of you have issues with uploading your project to HIO, and I believe that more of you will have issues. So there's a link here that may or may not resolve your issues. You should check it out later. It's basically talking about how to upload to HIO with WebGL and so on. Okay, so on the horizon is project 2, which basically starts today, the sprint for that. So what is project 2? Well, it's sort of a painting app, but kind of a bit more complicated. Again, this is the default project 2. Your project 2 should be different. So let's check the link. So here you can see it's still kind of focusing on painting like shapes and stuff, but here you can see the shapes have like kind of a bit more kind of transparency and or opacity with the color. So you can basically make them more or less kind of transparent with a slider, which is kind of cool. You can also make them glow or not glow. Other things you can do is change their size, like so. And also you can control their kind of the color same as before for like objects that are going to be painted. You can clear them, and like that's like a cool particle effect. So we're going to study how to do that also. Probably not today, but it's nice. There also is like a clock here. You can notice, so we're going to also learn how to do that. So the clock is basically a type of an animation that, let me quiet this down. So here, yeah, so you can basically change the time of day, like this, which is kind of cool. And yeah, we're going to start working on elements of this stuff here. Let's see. If I go here. Yeah, so for this kind of new project, the questions. Okay, so last week we saw multiple sliders. We saw drop downs. So today I want to talk about a couple of more elements, light, shadows, text, and so on. So if there are no other questions, a bit. So just to remind you what's happening here, we have this kind of, we can paint like this. We can change the color. We can also click on this toggle, and that will kind of not delete elements from the painting. The first thing I want to pay attention is, like, you have this slider, right? And when you're painting on the slider, it kind of also paints. So it's kind of annoying that as you're touching the slider, it does kind of also paint on top of it, and that kind of may not be aesthetically nice. So I was wondering if anyone has any thoughts on how to not get that. how to disable the painting if someone is kind of touching the slider. No? Yes?
There's a, I'm trying to think of I don't know the exact methods for it, but there's the get like the mouse on the screen space
Right.
option, so we could try to see if that overlaps with something on the
Right. So that probably would work better. Let me just this, and but what I want to do is to show you like a simple way to do this, which is not always going to work, but it's a kind of a nice overview of one thing you need to know, and that's system time. So let's see. So what I did here is I kind of added like a variable called drawing allowed time, and that basically kind of what the idea is, it will kind of measure the current time, right? And every time a user kind of modifies this slider, so here like I'm modifying the slider, that will basically kind of save the kind of that time. So what happens is, let's go here. So if someone is going to touch the slider, the idea is you're going to add like say a few seconds to that variable, so someone will be allowed to draw only after a few seconds have passed. So the idea is kind of like a delay in the drawing. So what's happening here? This set distance function is called every time you're gonna move this slider around. Let me do that again. So every time I'm kind of actually let me add a print here. So let's add a print. Debug log moving the distance slider. Okay. So again, every time I'm gonna kind of interact with this slider, that is gonna run this code. And what this code does, it just gets the current system date times, current system time, right? And adds like 1.5 seconds to that. Just I decided. So what does this mean? It will kind of create a time delay in painting. So every time you're like touching that slider, you will not be allowed to paint for at least 1.5 seconds. And how do I check that? I'm gonna just do this check. So this is like a command that's kind of free in Unity. So what it will do, it will just check what is the current system time. And if the current system time is greater than the drawing allowed time, then you can draw. Otherwise, it doesn't allow you to draw. Okay, so that's kind of the idea. Let's just see it again. So here, like I'm moving the slider, and every time I'm moving the slider, this kind of command is just a debug log. It changes. You can see it's not perfect, but it does kind of prevent me from painting for a little bit. If you want the effect to be a bit more dramatic, you can do this. You can like make this like, I don't know, 3.5 seconds or something. So why is this important? But well, soon we're going to build the clock, and I really want you to kind of see this sort of. I can't paint here right now because it just touched the slider. If I'm touching it again, I also cannot paint it. But now I can. So it's kind of like it could be a kind of not exactly working the way we want it to work, but it's kind of a nice feature maybe if you're trying to combine time somehow in your app. So that's so the takeaway here is system time now is gives you just the current system time, okay? It's not like in seconds or hours. It's kind of just combining everything. And if you can kind of just modify it, for example, by doing dot at seconds, you can do dot at minutes, dot at hours, and so whatever you want. And then you can use it somehow in your drawing. Okay, so that's one thing I kind of owe you about system time. Any questions about system time? Now you can use this kind of for interesting effects. For example, like someone here showed me like they have like this kind of some sort of stream of cubes falling. It's kind of like a stacking cube. So what you can do every time the user clicks somewhere, you'll get like kind of a continuous stream of objects that are going to fall or drawing, and then you can use this as a sort of counter to measure when to stop that stream, for example. So that's like one thing to look into. Now I also owe you. We have this destroy everything button. So if you remember, right now our code kind of destroys everything, regardless of whatever we do. But we kind of did create this toggle button. So this toggle button, what it does, it basically prevents things from being destroyed. So this toggle button, what it does, let me just show you. So if you go to this toggle, you can see here it's connected to painting dot set self destroy, and in my code set self destroy is just a boolean, okay? It's just this boolean. And well, set self destroy. Okay. So if this boolean is true, then I'm going to destroy the objects. Otherwise, if it's not true, I'm not going to destroy the painting objects. Okay, so what that means is, this is like say now true, so it is going to be destroyed. Now I'm going to cancel it. Okay, and it's not going to be destroyed. If I enable it again, like I can still paint, but see like all these objects that I painted while this was not kind of check mark are still going to hang in there. So what I want to do is I want to prevent this from kind of just being stuck, and I want to just delete it. Now to do that, I have this destroy everything button. Okay, and destroy everything, what it does, if I click on this, it will just delete everything. So let's take a look at how that works. So I created this destroy button, and we did this last week. I'm just kind of continuing what we did last week. And this destroy button is connected to painting destroy everything. Let's see what that does. Destroy everything. Okay. So now this is like a little bit tricky. So this, I'm not sure if you saw it in previous classes or in whatever. There's a specific type of for loop here that's not really clear, which I want to spend like a minute at least on. So what this is doing? So this loop is iterating over every child that is under my current object. So it's written in a funny way. It says here transform. Child transform in transform. Okay, for each transform, child transform in transform. So that basically what it does is just iterates over each child transform in transform. So why am I not using game objects and such? I'm using this because the way a Unity is built, this is a game object, yes, but in terms of the relationship, if you open it and you open it and you open, it's basically this is like the parent, and this is the child, and this is the child, and this is the child. So game objects, to know who's the parent and who's the child, need to have this transform kind of relationship. So they're using this transform to understand who's the parent and who's the child. So each object basically can have only one parent if they have a parent, but they can have many children. For example, this slider here, let's focus on the slider, has a couple of children. It has like a background, which you can change. It has like a fill area. It has like a handle area. And that handle area has more kind of children. So you can quickly build kind of a hierarchy of game objects and such just using these transform relationships. Anyway, point being is to get this to work, what we're going to do is going to iterate over each child in our current object and destroy it. So why does it work? It works because if you paint here, see all the paintable objects are going to be created with the Click Manager as the parent. So everything here is under Click Manager. So you can see it actually here in this inspector. So if you click on destroy everything, it just destroys all these kind of game objects that are the children of this Click Manager. Any questions on that? Okay, so I would like you all to implement that kind of quickly if you can. And this is the code. Okay. So now to get this to work, there are 2 steps you need to do. I'm not sure if this code is online, but first of all, you need to create a button like this, okay, that is connected to a function that looks like this. And secondly, you need to make sure when you're creating your objects, you need to basically set their parent. Otherwise, they're going to just be kind of flat and kind of don't be parentless, and then you cannot really access them easily. So to set the parent, what I'm doing is I'm doing this line, transform test transform.parent, this game object.transform. Okay? So again, you need three steps. You need this button. You need to have a code that is executed if the button is clicked that looks like this. And also you need this line which kind of sets every painting object that you create to be parented with this kind of Click Manager. Okay? So I'll give you like 5 minutes to kind of hash this out on your own, and then we can continue to the next thing on my list. Okay, so your task right now is just to get this destroy everything. So another thing I want to show you is how to add other types of UI elements, and there's one element that's kind of easy to add, and that's a text element. So to add a text element, all you need to do is right click here, UI, and there's a legacy text element here, and that creates us a new text element. So let's kind of drag it. Let's drag it to be somewhere here, maybe higher. So what I want to do now is you can see that by default it kind of looks small and unimpressive, so I just want to tweak it. Let's get it to be called sprint. First of all, just let's add a couple of text here. Sprint 1 project, and you can add new lines. So I'm gonna add my name and IT201. So you cannot really see the second line, and that's because right now this text element has a particular width and height. So you need to actually extend the height, and then you can see more of the text over here. Now another thing that's annoying, it's like super tiny and small. So let me just show you how to make it larger. So it's not a big deal. There's like a font size here, so you can just change it. Let's change it to be, I don't know, 27, maybe 20. And now it's too big again, so let's go back to height and make it bigger. And that's how you can kind of work with it. And you can also change the alignment. Like there's like all these kind of alignment kind of configurations you can work with. And maybe you can make it bold. Where's the bold? There's a bold somewhere here, bold. Okay. So why is this important? Because often, like, so you have everyone has their own specific app, right? So, you have your left click to do something, right click to do something else, keyboard to do something. So you can actually use this text to kind of guide the user, like the TA or whoever is going to check your app, to actually understand what's happening. So let's create another kind of this sort of text element just to tell the user what to do. Let's like this here. So I'm just going to type here, it's going to be a left click for painting, right click for moving the red prefab. Okay. Mouse left click and mouse right click. Right click. Okay, and then we need to kind of get that also again with the proper height and width and so on. Let's change that. It's kind of like Word. It's nothing to be impressed with. You know, this is something you need to know for your project. Let's just move it a bit here. Okay, so that was the text element. Any questions on the text element? Now, what I wanted to show you is this text element is reused in all these buttons, and I want to show you how to actually get the text to change from a script. So I created this button here, which what I want to do is I want to change it kind of dynamically as we go to actually say what position is the mouse going to be at, okay, as I'm moving the mouse. Kind of like what you saw in this example project. So if you see in this example project, where's the example project? Over here. So in this example project, as you're moving the mouse, it kind of tells you the mouse position with this kind of dynamic text. Okay? So I want to just replicate that and show you how that's done. So the first thing we need to do to get that working is to create this button, and I'm going to change the text of this button. So if we look at this button, this is the button. So you can move the button, right? But the button, again, going back to the story of parent, child, and all of that game objects. So the button is already a parent of something. So the button is a parent of a text object. So basically what you can do, you have this text game object inside the button. It just comes with it. It's like a combo deal. You cannot create a button without creating that text object. And you can move this button up. You can actually move this text object up or down, regardless of where the button is. So you can actually put the text to be here, or like below the button. And then if you move the button around, it will just move with the text will move with the button. Okay. So whatever is happening to the parent is reflected straight away in the child, but the opposite is not true. Now, if I want to actually change this text, I actually need to capture it with my script somehow and modify it. So the way to do it is, first of all, you need to create a field called this, let me show you, text mouse position. So I'm just going to use this as a sort of game object to modify this kind of text dynamically with. So you can see now that if I create this, it's not going to be, by kind of default, it's not going to work, because it doesn't know what text is. Okay, it's like an error. So this is like an important point. If you don't have this kind of sort of Microsoft Visual Studio ID, you may not get it to work correctly. So you better kind of see what to do. So if I hover over this, it shows me. It says that the name space text could not be found. Are you missing? Blah blah blah. So you can click on Show Potential Fixes here. And there's a quick fix that basically says using Unity Engine.ui. So using UnityEngine.ui is just adds another API, another kind of library of commands, another library of instructions that I can use with my script for free. But I do need to declare that I'm using it, otherwise it doesn't know that I can use it. So I had to declare this, and now this is fine to use. So now I have this text mouse position. So now what I want to do is I want to modify this every time I move my mouse. So which function do I need to use if I want it to run all the time? Is it start or something else? What's the function that I need to use? What function is called all the time? Yeah. Update, right. So I need to under my update kind of function here, I actually need to dynamically change this text. So let's show you how. So you're going to just copy this mouse position here. So mouse position dot text should be equal to whatever text you want, okay? Let's say like hello world for now, just to see that it's working. Save this. And you can see it automatically changed to hello world. So I can type whatever I want here. Another thing that I didn't tell you is you actually need to, so if you go to your click manager, you actually need to drag this text element here, because you created this right now. You need to actually connect it to something that's kind of in your scene. So I actually need to go inside this button here, go into this child text element, and actually drag it to here. So it's kind of like this, and you drag it there. So it's a little bit kind of tricky. Again, you need to go to this button you just created. Okay. It has like a text element. Click manager. You have your new placeholder for text editing, and then you need to drag it over here. Now, I kind of didn't really capture the mouse interactions yet, so let's do that. So let's do mouse position dot x. So actually before that, sorry. So get. Okay. So we said hello world. Okay, now we need to actually figure out how to get the XY positions of the mouse with Unity somehow. So we already know that there's like input.getMouse button and so on, but how do we get the mouse position? So you can just kind of try to wing it. You can do input.mouse and see if that works. And that kind of works well. So input.mouse position actually returns you dot mouse position. It returns you a vector free. So what is a vector free? It's an element with free floats, and you can use that for to set your kind of to set this string correctly. So let's just type mouse position dot x plus mouse position dot y. Save. So again, we know about input.getMouse button 0. We know about input.getMouse button down. Another thing you can use now is input.mouse position. That just returns you the current position of the mouse. And if you play this, now this will just change here dynamically. You can see I'm not even painting. It automatically, as I'm moving my mouse, it will show me the right kind of coordinates of the mouse. And let me just change it to be a bit more clear. Let's just type mouse X like that, and then mouse Y, mouse XY. Okay. And now you can see it here. Mouse XY is like that. Okay, so you can see all all this kind of over here. Any questions on this? So this was how you can grab the mouse coordinates dynamically and update a UI element with those coordinates without any clicking. Again, the magic trick to get that to work, you need to create a button. So in the button that you created, let's call this mouse position button. Mouse position button. So in this button you created, there's a text element. That's basically a child element that is just a combo thing you get when you create a button. So this text element, you need to connect to your script kind of manager over here. And to do that, you need to actually create a text game object. And then you can use this text game object to dynamically update your text when you are updating with this. Any questions on that? Is this clear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Is this clear? Yes? Some people look kind of confused. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, before I continue, I'm just gonna let you kind of try to implement this for 5 minutes, okay? Just add this to your code. It's super easy. It's unrelated to the other code you have. Create this button. This button has a text element here. And have this change dynamically every time you're painting. Okay? So again, what this button does, it doesn't do anything. It just changes the text as I'm dragging the mouse. And you can see here, there's a, this is where I actually just type in the new position. More things, and maybe you can finish early, and then you can double down on your project submissions. So I want to show you kind of another game object element we didn't cover before. That's called a quad. So if you right click here and you create a 3D object, that's called a quad. It's going to give you something like this. So I can't really show it. Let me scroll this down. You can kind of see it now. So it's kind of like just a plane, kind of like a rectangle. It doesn't really do much, but it's there, and we're going to use it in a bit. So one thing that you notice is, and this is kind of important for when you're doing your work and editing, I'm right now looking at this quad. Like if I double click on it, I can see it, but it's really not this showing up on my game screen, okay? So an easy way to kind of copy that object to be placed right on my game screen is to go to an object that's already on my game screen, say that cylinder, and you can copy these coordinates to your quad. So fast and easy way to do that is you have this transform under the inspector. So there's like these 3 points here, right on the top right. If you left click on this and you do copy position world, then you go to your quad and do the same thing, kind of 3 points there, paste position world, then you should see it kind of close to your cylinder. Okay, so all I did was basically go to my cylinder. There's these 3 points. I just do copy position world, then I go to my new game object. I'm gonna go again to these 3 points, paste position world, and it kind of just pastes it right on where that cylinder is. I'm just gonna move it to the right a little bit. Now, what I want to show you with this quad is kind of to create as almost like a canvas effect when you're drawing, kind of so you have some sort of background. So let's work on that. So you can see it's kind of small, so let's make it a little bit larger. To make it larger, you need to change its scale. So let's make it like, I don't know, 40 or 30 or something like this, 20. Okay, 20 by 20. And then you can move it like that. So it's kind of like a nice background for my painting app, okay? And another thing you can notice when I create this is you get this kind of shadow effect from your cylinder and other stuff in your scene. So if I move my cylinder around, you can see that it's going to change the shadow, which is kind of cool. Now that shadow that we're getting here should also should also see that if we're like painting. So let's try to paint. So if I'm painting, you can notice as I'm painting things behind this quad, which is not exactly what I want. I want to paint in front of the quad. Okay, I don't want my quad, this kind of quad plane thing to kind of hide my paintings. So I can just change the distance and see if that works. Kind of helps a little bit. So what I'm going to do is maybe I'll just move the quad a bit backward. Let's just move it a bit backward, like that. And like try painting again. Again, it's like still like behind too much. Again, this is something you need to work over, like you need to iterate. There's no quick and dirty fix, but you can see if the distance is correct, you can get these very cool shadow effects as you're painting, using kind of just the interplay of this of the light and like these this kind of plane. So one thing I want to have you pay attention is if you go to this quad, you can actually cancel these shadows. So this is something I don't think I talked about before, but if you go to the quad, there's like a option here. There's like a mesh renderer under the inspector, and you can, it says cast shadows on, receive shadows on. You can cancel this just by clicking on this check mark, okay? So I don't know, maybe you're having your specific painting app or whatever app and you don't want these shadows, you can just cancel it like that. Now you can also do it the other way. So you have your objects here, and you can also say you don't want them to actually cast a shadow. So you can do that. You can actually kind of click them, and there should be there's like an option cast shadow. So it works both ways. So there's an option to receive shadows. And there's an option to cast shadows. So you can actually cancel this cast shadows. You can do it. You can make it off. So if I kind of click all my spheres, for example, and I just do cast shadows off, it will not do the shadows, okay? So why is this important? Well, maybe you're going to have some sort of interaction with light in your painting app, and you can use that feature. Now, how does light work? Again, you have this directional light right now in the scene. You can see it in your sample scene here. It's kind of by the camera on the top. If you double click on this, you can actually see it. It kind of has a sun icon. Now, if you try to move it around, it won't do so much because it's a directional light. It's not going to change anything. It's kind of like the sun. So if you move the sun, it's not going to do much, kind of, because it's always going to shine in the same direction. So the way to get it to do something different is just to change its rotation. So to do that, you need to go to this. There's like in your scene kind of menu. There's this kind of two kind of arc-like arrows, and you can actually, when you click on that, you can actually change the shadow or the light kind of just by rotation. So I can just make it like super bright or super dark just by changing this rotation. And this is also going to be part of the clock that we're going to work on next week. So the clock, what's going to do, it's going to change based on the time. It's going to change the light in the scene, right? So if it's like super early, it's going to be very like kind of darkish. But if it's like kind of in the middle of the day, it's going to be very light, and you will see the shadow kind of change very nicely. Any questions on this? So that was like just a kind of overview on using a canvas, kind of using this quad as a canvas, seeing shadows kind of form upon it, and seeing how to kind of control these shadows either by canceling them from the inspector here. You have like cast shadows on or off. You can do, or you receive shadows, sorry, on and off. And you cast shadows just going to go the other way. You have to go to the actual spheres that you're creating and kind of disable these cast shadows. And we also saw the sun, how the rotation of the sun kind of affects the light. So one last thing I want to show you, and then you can hurry off and do your projects, is texture elements. So texture elements is basically, say you don't want to just work with colors like red, white, blue, whatever. Say you have like a very nice, I don't know, canvas-like texture that you found online, and here's my texture, like a wood-like texture. You can actually use it on top of your game objects. So here, I'm just going to drag this like here, and you're going to see it kind of creates this kind of cool wood-like kind of vibe to my canvas. And I still get my shadows for free. Again, so what did I do? This is like some sort of JPEG I found online. I'm going to show you how I did that. I put it in here, and I just dragged it to my quad, and then you get this effect. Now, you can actually do this, you can actually drag it to other things, and it will should do the same effect. So if I drag this to the cylinder, it will also paint the cylinder in this with this kind of sort of wood-like kind of color. And if I drag it to one of my spheres, let's see if that works. It may not work. Yes, it does the same thing. So if I drag it to one of my spheres, I just paint it, also gets the same kind of cool effect. So how did I get that to work? Well, I needed to actually you actually need to find some sort of image. Like let's Google images, for example, free textures, open source, okay, something like this. And there's like a bunch of websites that you can try. So let's just check the first one here. And this is like a bunch of textures, right? So let's say I like this, and let's just kind of save it, right? Maybe I can save it like this. No, I actually need to drag it. So let's drag it. Let's drag it here. So it doesn't matter where you drag it, as long as you downloaded it and then you drag it. And now I have this kind of, it's just an image, right? It's a JPEG, PNG, doesn't matter. And now I can just drag it in here and apply it to different kind of objects in my scene. And I'm getting this cool effect. So it's like another thing to play around with. Hurry and work on your projects, because that seems to be what you want to do.